I don't know. Oh, well. Hi, it's Leahz, and welcome to my living room. I thought I would do some recording for my living room on my old original computer that I got started on. And I thought, well, it won't be that big of a deal. And it was a pain in the butt. I mean, the lighting was a pain in the butt. And yes, you could probably see the ring light over there in my glasses. For those of you who tell me I'm sending people to hell because they can't stand to see reflections in my glasses, get over yourself. You're going to end up going to hell for telling people they're going to hell over stupid stuff. Yes, I literally have people write to me and tell me that. So I'm in my living room. Oh, welcome to Coffee Time with Lynn. Coffee. So we have not done a coffee time video in a long time. Just, those videos where we kind of talk about lighthearted stuff, nothing serious. I thought, hey, in between all of the serious end time stuff and the teachings that are just so deep, we need something lighthearted. So I'm sitting at the red table that used to be in the background in my coffee videos at my old house on the farm. And it's a little bit wobbly, and this Yeti microphone picks up every sound, like the sound of your spit and everything, which I hate. I don't like that. So, and then I noticed, I don't know what it is. My eyebrows look funny. I think it's my light, because I've got light over here, directly in my face. And then the other light that's over here is my living room lamps, and they're kind of far away. And it's making me look like Spock, like Spock when Captain Kirk would say something that was a little off and Spock would raise an eyebrow. It's like, hold on. What can we do? Go like this? I don't know. I don't have. Kind of makes you wonder when I did my eyebrows. Maybe I just didn't do them right. Yeah, I don't know. Or maybe I have one side of my face that's droopy. Maybe one side of my face is droopier than the other side. Or maybe I should just talk like this. That would be weird. Maybe it's my glasses. Oh, I think that is the problem. So my glasses need adjusted. I don't know. Oh, well, I don't have crooked eyebrows, but in this video, I do. So we will say that I have crooked eyebrows in this video, and my coffee is getting cold. Well, it's not really cold, but I like my coffee very hot. What to talk about? Deep, lighthearted stuff. Oh, I miss the fire pit. I miss doing the outdoor videos. I don't miss the setup, although to be honest, it was kind of fun. So I guess I do miss the setup, setting up. It was a lot of setup. It took me a good 30 minutes to get those fire pit videos set up. And then the videos where I would hike out to the tarp shelter, those took a lot to set up too. I mean, you got to hike out, carry stuff with you, getting the wood back to the tarp shelter. But those were really nice. I don't miss getting pooped on by birds. That really stunk. I definitely don't miss that. I remember sitting there in a whole flock of hundreds of crows or some type of blackbird flew over, and they were surrounding me, and I had a cup of coffee in my hand, and I'm sitting there by the fire, and I remember I heard plop. I could hear it all around me, like it was raining poop, and it landed on my knee. And I remember I was so afraid it was going to go into my coffee. I miss my hair. I had to get it chopped off because it was fried, literally fried. It was fried because, well, it got left on. The stuff got left on too long. The previous time I had my hair done, I took my daughter with me, and it was just chaotic. And so it fried my hair. So it just got more and more fried. So I had to get it chopped off. This is how I used to wear it, but I haven't worn it like this in a long time. So I'm not used to it. So I really miss my hair. I'm not used to it being this short. And what I really hate is this type of hairstyle, I have to style it. Whereas the other hairstyle, I didn't have to style it, but this I do. And I hate having to spend more time in the bathroom fixing myself than what I absolutely have to. Thus as to why I hardly ever wear any eye makeup anymore, which you can see through my glasses. It's just a pain in the butt. So, do you guys ever like sit there and you're talking to the Lord and you just start thinking about really deep things like how fast our lives go, how we've wasted most of our lives, just things like that about how, wow, there's nobody left. Me, I'm by myself. So I'm totally dependent on God for everything. I'm dependent upon God for food, for my finances, health, like everything. I'm just dependent upon God. Here, hold on. I better get my feet off the bar on the table. I can see it shaking my camera. So I kind of like being alone. It doesn't bother me like it does some people. I know there's people out there that they have to have somebody in their life. I'm not like that. I'm not like that at all. I actually don't mind being alone. It does kind of stink when it snows and I have to do everything myself or there's stuff that needs done. That part of it can stink because I'm totally, I have to do everything. I don't have people to physically help me do things. So that can stink. But just as far as being alone, it doesn't bother me. I see it more as an opportunity to spend more time with the Lord, to spend more time doing his work. Whereas when you're not alone, you can get distracted by other stuff or problems or, your focus changes. I'm not saying it's bad to have someone in your life or that I mind having someone in my life. I'm not saying that. It just doesn't bother me to be alone, is what I'm saying. But my whole point in mentioning that is it makes me think about 1 Samuel chapter 8. Okay, Israel was totally dependent upon God, but all of a sudden they wanted a human leader because they didn't trust God anymore. And it really upset God. And God warned them relentlessly through Samuel, but they still wanted their flesh king. And so God gave it to them. So I was thinking, you know what, Lord, I'm exactly where you want me. What you originally wanted, you wanted your people to be totally dependent upon you. So here I am, and there you are. And it's like sometimes you go through things or you feel weird or you don't feel right or you just have weird stuff happen and you're by yourself. That can be scary. That can be pretty scary. And then when that stuff happens, I'm always like, okay, Lord, help me out here. So I think about things like that. And I think about, let's see, today I was thinking about, okay, like dying, right? So it's kind of anymore like just me and my mom. When we used to have Thanksgiving when I was a kid, like we had the whole family, all of my grandparents on both sides, aunts, uncles, and it's like everybody's dead now. See, my brother has his family and kids and they live in a different state. Um and we're not all like real close or anything. Then I've got my kids, but they've all kind of gotten older, so they do their thing. So it's kind of like all my grandparents are dead. Um, my dad died last year unexpectedly. So you'll just be sitting there and you're thinking, wow, it isn't, too far off. I'll be next in line, I'll be next in line. So I was thinking about it. And so I asked a friend of mine who helps moderate stuff on my live chats, or not my live chats, my premieres. I was like, do you ever think about death and is it ever scary? A lot of us like to sit here and be like, oh, I know I'm going home with the Lord and I look forward to it. And then you look at Paul, the apostle, and he was like, I'd rather be home with the Lord, but because of you guys and you need me here, I have to be here for you. But you think about Paul and the early church and how they just looked forward to dying and going home to be with the Lord. But then we've kind of evolved in an age where we've grown up with scary movies and all sorts of stuff, the fear of death and everything being creepy surrounding death and all that kind of stuff, and just a lot of creepy, scary stuff. So I was thinking about it. And so I kind of like, I don't know. I know, for example, I gave this example to my friend. Okay. So I live in Ohio, but when I go to Florida, I know once I'm there, I never want to come back to Ohio. I hate coming back to Ohio. I dread coming back to Ohio because I just love the palm trees and the beach and the ocean. And it's just the breeze and it's so heavenly. But I hate the trip there and I hate the trip back when you drive. It's uncomfortable. Your back hurts. It takes forever. It's like 16 to 18 hours. So I really dread the trip to Florida. And once I'm there, I don't want to come home. So, and then when you're leaving, you're excited about it. You dread the trip, but you also have your comfort zone in your own place where you live. So I was thinking about that. And it kind of reminds me that's kind of how death is for a saint. It's like once you're there, you don't want to come back. The trip there is kind of difficult, painful. But I guess one of the biggest things for me is there is that unknown aspect of it. I mean, the Bible does tell us about, that those of us who know the Lord, when we die, we go to heaven or we go to be with Jesus Christ, Yeshua, and all of that for all of eternity. But we don't know how it all happens. You know what I mean? Like the transition. We've heard stories from people who allegedly, died and came back, or knew someone who knew somebody who died. Like the person I was talking to said, I think he said it was his mother or his grandma. If he listens to this, I'm sorry, I can't remember for the life of me. But she apparently said, "Do you see Jesus? I see Jesus. Jesus is here." And he said, "No," or something along those lines. But she said she saw Jesus and then she died. So, I mean, there's comforting stories from people, but we're really not told about how exactly it happens. So there's the unknown. So I was thinking about that and how it's kind of like, I don't know, a little bit scary. I mean, leaving this life, I guess if you have children or loved ones, you think about that and you think about, oh my gosh, the stress if something happens to me, that people will be left with all of my mess to clean up. You think about all those things. And then, of course, there's the things you think about, like, did I do everything right according to the Lord? I know my biggest prayer all the time is, Lord, all I want to do is your work. Keep me here long enough to do your work until the end. Like, I just want to do your work. I've spent most all of my life living in the flesh and sinning, Lord, and I just want to spend the last little bit of my life doing nothing but spending time with you and doing your work. So I think about those things. And I don't know if you guys think about those things too, kind of like the age-old question, if you found out you were going to die in 1 week, or if you found out you only had 3 days to live, what would you do? And really, what would you do? If you found out you only had a few days to live, what would you do? I don't know. I've thought about that too. I can see pros and cons on either side of it. Like, I don't know if I would just want to die suddenly in my sleep unexpectedly or something like that. I wouldn't want to die tragically. I mean, who really wants to die tragically? But I don't know. I guess if you know you're going to die and you have X amount of time to live, you have time to prepare, do things. So there's definitely pros in that aspect of it. But at the same time, it would almost be torturous, like like a countdown, kind of like being on a vacation and I don't know. I don't know, like knowing you have to go back. I don't know how else to explain it. I don't know that I'd want like to know or would I just want it to happen suddenly? Hmm. Seems like there's pros and cons either way. I know ultimately we're not supposed to worry about it. We're supposed to rejoice. God has already preordained that day, an hour, and moment, and second of our death. It says so in the Bible, even in the Psalms. It says, all of my days were written in your book when as yet there were none of them. So God has already written all of our days in the book. So nothing will happen until it was meant to happen. So that's one thing that can sometimes bring peace. Anyways, well, I kind of just felt like testing out my old computer recording in the living room. So I know I really didn't talk about anything all that interesting or that really blesses the kingdom of heaven or anything like that. Just kind of a casual video. I'm a deep thinker. I think too much sometimes, really, but then that helps to make me, gifted or good at what I do when it comes to studying the Bible. I got my feet on the table again, on the bar at the bottom. It shakes the table. But I'm a very deep thinker. I can just sit there studying the Bible and then start praying and then think deeply and ask God questions, and then I'll just ask him and the answers come to me. Now, not always. There's times I ask questions and I don't get any answers at that moment, but sometimes he'll just give me answers to things. And I know it's him because the answers are so absolutely incredible, like nothing that I could think of. I encourage all of you to take time out if you don't and just sit quietly in the presence of the Lord and talk to him and then get quiet and listen because sometimes you will hear his voice and he'll talk to you. And it's just always an incredible experience. All right. Well, I really don't have much more to say other than, hey, I really appreciate you guys. I appreciate those of you who share these videos of mine. God bless you for that. I really, really do appreciate it. I appreciate your prayers. I appreciate those of you who are faithfully supporting this ministry. Thank you so much for that. This whole boycott PayPal business is really hurting those of us who rely on support from people. So I just want to mention that. Apparently, from what I've read and understand, this whole thing with PayPal, it's been in their information for many years. It's not something new. It just got brought to light because of some accident that happened and that brought attention to it. But apparently that clause that everyone's making a big deal out of has been in there for years and years. And all of a sudden people are making a big deal out of it. Furthermore, part of my understanding about it and studying what it says, there are a lot of scammers, okay? There are a lot of scammers who falsely advertise and they put out false information and they steal from people. I've had it done to me and they'll use PayPal. I think a lot of that wording has to do with people who are deceiving people, putting out bogus information to get money and to steal from you. I really think that is what it has to do with, because I was talking to some chick at PayPal weeks ago and I brought it up and we were talking about it. Very nice. I've never had a bad experience with PayPal. In all the years I've been doing what I do, going back to when I did conspiracy garbage, I've never had a problem. They've always been very nice to me. They've always taken care of any problems right away. They've taken good care of me. I haven't had a problem. So I think, in my humble opinion, and I know many of you out there will disagree, and I'm partial because that's the main way I receive financial support. But even stepping out of that, all this is doing is hurting those of us who receive financial support. I've had a bunch of people that have ended their regular support that they were doing to the ministry through PayPal, Patreon, because Patreon uses PayPal. I mean, all sorts of stuff. And all it's doing is hurting those of us who do the work of the Lord. But that's really up to all of you guys. I think it's kind of silly because that clause or whatever it's called and the wording of it has been in there for many years. It's just suddenly people making a big deal out of it. And PayPal doesn't have anything to do really with what you're posting. I really think a lot of that has to do with scammers who lie and falsely advertise and deceive people, but that's just my opinion. All right, well, God bless all of you. I hope you have a very lovely day, and thank you so much for even watching this video. I know it's just kind of a little casual, nothing in particular video, but it was great doing a coffee time with Lynn here from my living room. God bless you.